Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the top 10 best point guards in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM. Again, this list is not including, or it's not just the attainable cards. Those lists will start again here pretty soon, but these include mostly like invincible cards and a lot of these guys who are not particularly attainable for their price tag. So keep that in mind. A lot of these cards are hard to get and hard to attain, and I totally understand that. At the same time, though, I think we've put together a pretty good list, and there's a couple guys in this list that are at least attainable, so there is something to say for that. Before we hop into it, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. The number 10 card on this list is actually Galaxy Opal Denny Avdia, and this may seem like a surprise. Why do I have Galaxy Opal Denny over Dark Matter Dominique or Dark Matter Manu or Dark Matter Stefan Castro? Some of the guys who might be considered honorable mentions on this list that you might be surprised to know are not going to be in this top 10. And the reason is two things. Number one, big player build, helps a lot defensively. And number two, I love his jumper. It's those two things. He's a great shooter and a very high level defender who also has great size and a great jump shot. And to me, the jumper's the biggest thing that I really love about this card. He has a little bit of movement, but not like superior, incredibly elite movement, but he has an absolute strap on him, and he's 6'9" as well. He's a card that I personally think has a lot of value, and see as having no issue with him at number 10 despite only being an opal. Number 9 is gonna be J-Kid. Absolutely love this card defensively. I really feel like he plays much bigger than pretty much any other 6'4" PG. Now, does he occasionally have issues with his height? Yes, he does, as somebody at his height is probably going to, and I feel like those are slowly becoming more prevalent, which is annoying, but at the same time there is still a lot to like about this card. He has an elite level release, obviously that Patty Mills base, Darius Garland upper on very quick, has Garland dribble style, has Kemba escape, has Pro 2 fade. Like, there's a lot to like in terms of this card's movement and elite release as well. And again, the stats and badges are absolutely incredible. I really think this card is not noticeably worse, in all honesty, than a guy like Gary Payton's Invincible is. I don't think there's a significant gap between those two cards, which you will probably see reflected in these rankings here shortly. But at the number 7 spot, we got Michael Jordan. MJ is still absolutely awesome as a slasher, as a shot maker, as a defender. He's a very versatile, very high level card still. 6'6", 6'11", wingspan, great animations, a nice jumper. I will say that the jumper is good, but I don't personally think it's unbelievably ridiculous. Now, I actually do like MJ's upper or MJ's fade a lot, especially when you combine that with a good fade, or sorry, with a good upper with Kyle Korver. Garland dribble style, Kemba escape is nice. No behind the back's a little annoying, but it's not the most important thing in the world. Either way, he's still one of the better point guards in the game, but I personally have him number 8. Number 7, the first Invincible, Gary Payton. I just mentioned him, and now he's on the list. The honest truth about this card is he is basically just like an Invincible, like every other Invincible except for Paul George. Stat and badge wise, he's basically perfect, incredible legend badges, and he's got an incredible release with Pro 2 fade, Garland dribble style, Kemba escape, tray behind the back. Does not have Francis size up though, which all the other Invincibles besides PG have. So that's a little annoying. At the same time, he still moves phenomenally well. He's an incredible point guard with a great release. He's just 6'4", and his player build's not that big. I mean, he is noticeably smaller on the court, in my opinion, than even like a Jason Kidd is. He just doesn't have an elite player build, and it holds back what is otherwise an absolutely phenomenal card. I think he's 7 though, to me, to be totally honest. Like, I personally think Shea is a little bit better. I have SGA at number 6. SGA has Garland dribble style, Francis sides up, and Kemba escape. Doesn't have the behind the back, but I mean, Gary doesn't have the size up. So movement wise, I think they're relatively similar. They both have very good releases, Pro 2 fade. Now, Gary's release is better. The reason that I think SGA is better because I feel like he makes a little more impact defensively as a 6'6" guy with a better player build. And I feel like the ability to standing dunk as well as that he has to finish around the rim with more consistency than Gary is also a big deal. I would prefer SGA to Gary just slightly. I think SGA is better than both these guys. Honestly, if you wanted to flip Gary and MJ, I wouldn't even be mad at you about that either. But I personally think SGA is the best non-invincible point guard in my team, which means that the top 5, oh no, he's not. I'm sorry. He's the second best non-invincible point guard. We'll get to the other one here in a second. But Jimmy Butler's my number 5. 6'7", invincible, 6'8" wingspan. Stats and badges are incredible. Jumper is elite. Sigs are perfect. Pro 2 fade. But to be totally honest, I don't adore this Jimmy's jumper. like that insanely. For a park changed incredible jump shot, it's one of my less favorite of the ones that 2K has changed personally. Do I think he's a great card? I still absolutely do. I think he's really, really great. I think his animations are nearly perfect, and I do think it's a really good jump shot. I just think all the other Invincibles probably have, for the most part anyway, better jumpers or something else about them that makes them a little bit better. And so for me, since I don't think this card's jumper is like unbelievably game breaking, I have it numbered 5, and that's because I have him behind number 4, 100 overall Ben Simmons, who I believe is, while not as complete and as good as a Jimmy Butler is in some areas stat and badge wise, although I mean he's not far off obviously as an Invincible with amazing Hoffs, but or as a 100 overall with amazing Hoffs, but jumper is probably pretty similar in speed. He's 3 inches taller than Jimmy, which is really valuable defensively. The switchability of this card is absolutely incredible, and he's got Garland dribble style Kimbo escape, so as a 6'10 guy still has pretty decent movement. Sure, I wish his fade was better. Sure, he doesn't have quite the completeness of Sigs that Jimmy has, and sure, he's not probably on paper quite as good, but in my opinion the additional size is enough for him to be a top tier guy in my opinion, and I think he is number 4 on this list. Number 3 is LaMelo Ball, who low-key is my kind of favorite Invincible PG. I don't think he's objectively the best one, but he's really fun to use. His jumper is nasty. He is really, really good. And he's a card that I personally would love to get if he was a little bit more inexpensive. If I could get this card under like 2 million MT, I legitimately would consider it. 6'7" with a 6'10 wingspan. He moves so well and he's so fun to use, but also the KPJ base Oscar upper on very quick is just such a nice smooth jumper. It's really the thing that I like the most about him versus Jimmy. I just think he feels more smooth for whatever reason, even with basically the same Sigs. I like the way he moves a little bit more. Maybe it's I prefer the Curry escape. I also think his jumper is amazing, and Pro 2 with Oscar upper is really, really good. So I really like this card a lot. I'm a big LaMelo guy, and yeah, I'd rather have him than Ben, but I'd rather have Ben than Jimmy. Maybe that's weird considering they're both 6'7" Invincibles with similar Sigs, but it's my ranking, and this is how I have it. Number 2, another card who I would love to get, but will likely never get my hands on, is the GOAT, LBJ, LeBron James. My favorite player besides, well, my favorite non-Mav in the NBA. I'm a huge Bron fan. Unfortunately, this card's like 7 million MT. He's just not attainable at all. I'd love to get him, but he's just too expensive. It's just not going to happen, and that's okay. Stat and badge wise, he's insane. Really, what's great about him is that he also is 6'9" with a 7-foot wingspan, so he's got that additional size that is valuable defensively compared to a LaMelo or a Jimmy. He's going to look noticeably bigger than those guys in the court. He's going to be a bigger, more impactful, versatile defender. Going to be able to guard these like out of position point guards or like a Ben Simmons or players like that more effectively. Like, I don't think Andrew Bogut, for example, is a top 10 point guard, but he can be a matchup issue. He's not going to be a matchup issue for Bron, even at 6'9". That's a card who just player build wise, animation wise, all that type of thing is going to be absolutely dominant. But with that being said, I just don't think anybody can be better than Jokic. It's a near 7-footer at point guard with perfect Sigs and an elite release. I mean, he's basically Andrew Bogut with perfect Sigs and elite release and perfect stats and badges. Like, this card is ridiculous. People spent $2,500 for him, and trust me, I think that's absolutely insane, but he's probably one of the 2 or 3 best point guards in the game for the rest of the year. And one of the best point guards we've ever seen, in all honesty, in my team, in terms of just how good he is compared to everybody else. 6'11" with the level of movement he's got, the level of release he's got, not to mention just being a ridiculous mismatch size-wise. I mean, he's such a good card. And yeah, unfortunately, you look at this list, it's a lot of pay to win cards. That's one of my biggest complaints with my team right now. In fact, that's probably my biggest complaint with my team as of now, is that the very, very best cards in the game are just not particularly attainable to the average player whatsoever. And I'm not saying they should all be incredibly easy to get, and I get it's a business, but it'd be nice if they were a little bit more attainable at times, because that is just absolutely not the case right now. You look at this list, and 1 through 7 is just not realistic. 1 through 8 really is just not realistically attainable for the majority of my team players, and 1 through 5 or so is like a complete no-go. You know what I mean? And so it's unfortunate, but it's just how it is. So I don't know. I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.